Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. He might have made one going to
It's
Tallahassee.
mercy if y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shelly-oo, hoodie girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Beat the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets out the buckets, baby. You out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We get buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
What up, everyone? Welcome to a Midnight Bucket special edition featuring me, Vish, and Matt as soon as he gets out of California traffic. What's up, Vish?
I mean, we moved it to midnight to accommodate my guy, and he shows up late.
Apparently, they are sitting on the highway in Southern California right now.
No sense of urgency or punctuality on the fake coast over there.
They don't realize that Matt's got somewhere to be.
Josh is upset.
Bill says California time show. I guess it's all about Matt now, and he's not even here.
I mean, he sent us a picture of pretty horrid traffic. So either he, I don't know, they got all that technology on the West Coast. Maybe he faked it. I don't know, but it looked real to me.
We usually don't do Friday shows, but Matt wasn't available Tuesday, and I worked. No, Matt wasn't available
Wednesday.
Wednesday
is when you could have done it. Yeah.
No, Matt.
Wait, no, Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Matt wasn't available Tuesday, and I had date night with Mom Thursday. Hence, here's Friday, and then it got later because Matt had a previous engagement that was planned that he forgot about. And here we are, killing time, waiting for Matt to get here. The board says March sadness. And that's because neither
we didn't participate.
Men's or women's team
even tangentially
participate in the ACC tournament. So that definitely means they aren't participating in the NCAA tournament. So here we are already in the off season. Matt says he's 5 minutes away.
Should we do
Nate, there was no big wins on Thursday. We lost a little bit, but we always go with a budget. We had fun. And then today we had Chick-fil-A breakfast and hung out and did a little shopping. Speaking of shopping, although I did not do this with Mom because I was up in Broward with her, but I did get this from the team store, which they so nicely labeled because I ordered it online, labeled it Melissa HG just in case there was a different Melissa.
All I got was Vish on my bag when I bought something, and they noted I paid because apparently that was of controversy.
But I did get a new hoodie. Shocking, I know. But they're having like Miami U100 gear, celebrating 100 years. And so I got this really nice hoodie. It's not 100% cotton because it feels like a little athletic material-ish, I would say. But here we go. How we feeling about it?
Hold on a second. Don't put it down. There we go. I think it's really cool.
It is a very nice hoodie. It's definitely athletic material-ish. I'm trying to see if there's like a how much cotton and stuff it is.
When we said we'd kill a few minutes before Matt
Yeah,
showed up, we weren't joking.
It's not polyester.
We're not doing.
And they had it in extra small, and so my good friend at Jeremy, who now I have his phone number, I just texted him like, "Hey, do you have this in extra small?" And he's like, "Yes." And I was like, "Can you put one aside for me?" And so then he sent me a link to actually order it with my Hurricane Club discount, because he didn't want them to sell out before I got there, because they are available online, Miami Hurricane Team Store. So yeah, make sure you're following them on Twitter and Instagram, because I found this hoodie because of something they posted. So they're
at
sales
Miami
technique is working.
at Miami HTS.
Yes. So yeah, new hoodie. I was gonna wear it tonight, but I wanted to easily display it, so I went with the Hoodie Girl hoodie, which is available on aboutthefans.com. HG10, HG10, 10% off. Go buy a hoodie. Thank you.
All right, that's enough shilling advertising and.
But look it, Bill thinks it's very cool. Nicholas says that's fire. I don't. We're having some new people that usually don't comment. Maybe these midnight buckets are popular things, or maybe it's a Friday night thing. I don't know.
I don't know. They've watched this disaster.
The baseball team. So in case you missed it, I was on Locked On Canes on Tuesday afternoon. I thought I was a bit more positive than our show. I had some more time.
You were on Tuesday?
Was it Tuesday?
Yeah, it was over the weekend.
Was it over the weekend? I don't remember when it was.
It was on Saturday.
Was it Saturday? I was on Locked On Canes at some point. And
yeah, it was on Saturday, I think.
Was it Saturday? Yeah, at some point I was on Locked. So the Larinaga Meyer 23 hoodie is commemorating the awesomeness of making the Elite Eight and the Final Four in the same season. So when Cullup and Lucas do that, there will be a Cullup Lucas 25 or whatever year hoodie there will be. I didn't realize that hoodie was going to become vintage so quickly. But Coach Meyer retired shortly after that hoodie came out. So
no, a year, right?
Huh?
She coached the 24 season, but when did you do the hoodies?
The hoodie was last April.
Okay, so you did it after the 24 season, but commemorating the 23 season?
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
How about we start with, before we start Final Four and Elite Eight, let's make the ACC tournament. Why don't we start with baby steps here?
I was on Locked On Canes at some point in the last week.
It was Saturday. I'm confident it was Saturday.
And so I tried to be a little bit more positive than I was on the last show about our men's coaching hire. I was just in a mood. We're gonna talk more about it once Matt gets here. But this is what you guys got to understand. I'm skeptical. I'm trying to be positive because, new coach, I support him, but I'm skeptical because he's a brand new head coach. And I think I have all the reason in the world to be skeptical. So for those of you who were calling me names in the comments.
Can you break out the fuck sign? Yeah.
There we go. Getting trashed for my opinions, and I wasn't even that negative.
I mean, people want to believe, and they don't like to hear any kind of counter.
Anyone that says Perry Clark left the program in better condition than Coach L did, I can't take you seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything is a freaking disaster. So. Listen,
he's already hit the ground running. I saw on Twitter that he was in Tampa today scouting a 5-star 26 recruit. So he's been the head coach for like 4 days and he's already recruiting, which is good. He's getting right to work. But I think Nate's right. He's definitely getting thrown to the fire. So people got to be patient with him. Don't expect the world next season.
Doing some housekeeping over here.
Oh, also the link to the Coach L tribute video, Vish just put that in the chat. The guys worked really hard on that. I'd like to say that I contributed to that, but I just had a couple of ideas Matt got a ton of people. Vish got a bunch of people and did all the editing and put up with my nitpicking on certain things that needed to be done. And then, but yeah, no, it's really good. We would show it, except the music would get copyrighted, so we can't.
Yeah.
But enjoy One Shining Moment because it's really awesome in the background. And then Vish also put our game of horse, or as we call it, canes, in the chat as well. You can watch me shoot terribly and lose miserably. And Nate says, "Don't expect the Boozer brothers to switch their commitments." Yeah.
But I also, on that topic, because when Matt gets in here, we'll talk a little bit more in detail. So I don't want to do the whole thing and then have him show up and do it over again. But just on this topic, so I don't think we'll cover it with Matt. It doesn't even matter. You guys are people that are oh, maybe he'll get this one high school kid or this.
It's a complete rebuild.
But that also that's so short-sighted. If you're trying to build a program, you need to build a program. You don't do it to get a single recruit, or that's just not gonna be that's not long-term thinking, and that's not why they hire. Whatever you think of the hire, they did not hire him because they thought, well, maybe you'll get the Boozer twins. That's nonsense stuff to be talking about. Even if it happened, it's not going to substantively mean anything. Mm-hmm. He's got to rebuild everything. Speaking of rebuilding,
y'all got to give him time, because the same people who are saying it's a great hire and they're really excited will be the first people on the internet to want him fired when we don't have a great season.
I'm gonna counter that point, but before I do that, we've got a third host backstage, so I'm gonna I can see everything you're doing back there.
I know you can. I've been in your position before, and also Bill's talking shit in the chat.
Wait, what did he say?
Bill.
What did he say?
Well, he was saying, "Oh, California time. I guess it's all about Matt now." When has it never been about me? What are we talking about here? I love it.
CEO of Getting Buckets, certified now.
Yeah, I'm the CEO, Bill.
Come on. Certified. Yeah, the champ is here.
Matt, 1 to 10. What's the
Did you guys talk about the? That's an 11 out of 10 hoodie.
There you go.
Did Bill bring up the transfer he wants from Cal State Fullerton?
Is he Serbian?
He put up a riveting 3.4 points per game.
So he'll already be the best player on the team, but
I was joking around.
Side note, Matt, Bill, and Jackson, another one of our viewers, have a group text, and I guess they go at it in this group text.
We don't go at it. I mean, we debate for sure, but it's all in good fun and whatnot. But he didn't. I think it was because they posted his stats from when he was at D2, but Bill thought it was from when he was at Fullerton. So, but Fullerton's so bad,
Again,
big West, is gonna have has a chance to have 2 teams in the tournament, but Fullerton is the worst team in the Big West. Anyways, I just came in here, started talking about Big West basketball. What's going on, guys?
Grizz.
Go Grizz. See, there he is, 17.4 points in 23 at it's at a D2 school in Florida. I don't remember.
I am confident there were several players on last year's team that could not average 17.4 points in D2, so could be an upgrade. With Fullerton or us.
Speaking of all these random teams, we are going to do a post-selection Sunday show where we talk about all the teams. Hopefully, I will be invited to that one because I was working the last time. Brendo is going to be back.
Wait, what are you talking? We already said that it's going to be Monday, and you're going to be there. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm
First and
mean
second,
you're we're excluding you.
We didn't invite you last time.
It's a joke.
It didn't sound like a joke.
Are both people coming, Brendo and Tommy?
Yeah, as long as we do it, because Tommy's coming back from Northern California. His flight literally arrives at I think 6, but the airport's 10 minutes from his house.
The Monday after selection Sunday, 11-ish at night, we're gonna do a whole breakdown.
Next Monday. Next Monday.
Yeah. Right after selection. So yeah.
Breaking down every matchup.
Get
ready.
I hope there's some more Jack Golkeys in the bunch.
Oh, me and Brendan have been talking already. It's gonna be an awesome show if you love college basketball just in general.
Yeah,
don't want to miss it.
I'm gonna have a fun night. Football at 8:30, baseball at 9:30, and then this shit at 11. Thank you.
I mean, if you just want to like put us on and we can talk about it, if you don't want to, you know.
I'll just start randomly booting people on the stream. I don't agree with you.
I'm excited to actually because I was at work and so I just tuned in and got on the show just for my Long Beach prediction.
Yay, go Beach. There's gonna be some bold predictions too. We don't even know the matchups yet, but I'll tell you that.
There's always going to be bold predictions.
I mean, we're so bad we missed the ACC tournament. That keeps like dawning on me. Like our women's season had like 3 weeks ago.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Only three teams are gonna make the tournament.
Oh no, it's not
Unless
even a good
something crazy
conference.
happens.
We are bottom of the
It's
barrel. Greg's
Duke beat the living shit. Well, actually, I think North Carolina came back, right? I didn't see.
Oh, you didn't see what happened.
No, I didn't see what happened.
Lost because they made the game tying free throw, but they called it a lane violation.
I mean, they didn't.
Oh my god!
Hold on. It wasn't.
They lost on the lane violation.
Wait. They called. It wasn't nuanced. This. I don't know what he was trying to like trick Duke and just stepped all the like. It was.
It
Had to
was
call.
did it.
It was a lane violation.
No, it was
really
egregious. It was egregious. Like he stepped whole ass. It wasn't even like they'll let like the toe go or guy maybe steps. He just full ass stepped into the lane, realized he did it, like jump back, and they had to call it. I mean, you could not do it.
They lost on a lane violation.
And our guy Ben Allen Lubin was on the line too.
Oh my god.
Man, it was brutality. So yeah, they lost. They ended up losing by 3 because there were 2 seconds left, and they fouled, and Duke made a couple of free throws, and they had a desperation shot. But
it's actually really funny.
I mean, I don't know where his head was.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, they made a comeback.
Isn't it crazy though to see how Louisville's doing after where their program was
last year?
Well, so I guess we can get into it. So I think the last time we did a show, I was actually was technically. I mean, everyone knew Jay Lucas was going to be the coach, but it was technically before
it got announced.
They even formally announced it, let alone the press conference, because we did it last Wednesday, which was the 5th, and they announced it on the 6th. So we have not. What are you pointing at? March Sadness?
I wanted Matt to see it. March Sadness.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it's never sadness, even if Miami's not in. I just love.
Well, we're talking Miami hoops, so it is sad. But after
in any event, did y'all watch the press conference? Any thoughts on that?
I did.
I did day of, and I'm trying to remember everything, but there were some things.
I mean,
let me say something positive, so that the haters and the keyboard warriors, can get their panties out of a twist. I'll say this because I was playing devil's advocate on Dono's show. He's young, and if the hire works out, I think this is like it's either going to work out really well or it's going to be a complete bust situation. He's young. I really liked his energy. It seems like he's going to be able to relate to players because he's young and he's been recruiting the big guys at these top tier programs. So I'll give him that. I still like the not having head coaching experience definitely worries me. But
So I'm worried for another reason, which is outside of football, which we hired without an athletic director. Our entire the bigger programs at school have never been in worse shape than they are now, collectively. We had the worst baseball team since the 1950s last year, and they stink again now. They're not even competitive. Both basketball teams missed the ACC tournament.
I just saw Nate's comment right now, so I just had to shout out Nate.
No, I mean this is where this is where we're at as a program. So they're asking us to trust an unorthodox hire. And I have concerns given the current trajectory of all of the programs on campus and where they were 3 years ago to now. Just to be clear, at the time, that the what Melissa mentioned with her hoodie, that the men were in the Final Four and the women were in the Elite Eight. The baseball team was hosting regionals. It imploded quickly under this era, this administration's watch. They've made hires so far. Early returns, I mean, had our first ACC game in baseball today, although the last week has been brutal. And we're probably going to get swept and be on like a 6-game losing streak, but that's neither here nor there. It's the first year for the women's basketball coach. So obviously give them more time. Melissa mentioned earlier, you got to have patience with Jay Lucas because the same ones are like, this is the greatest hire in the history of Western civilization. They're the same ones they're going to blow their top when we lose to Pitt in like the first ACC game. So just like, we have to be patient with some of this, but the early returns are really bad on all the hires that have been made. And they're saying, well, trust this unorthodox, no coaching experience hire. And I have a hard time doing that.
Can't blame the basketball team's downfall on Rad, though. It's his responsibility to hire the head coaches.
Well. So again, Jay Lucas hasn't coached a game yet, but the women's team went from getting screwed out of making the tournament to missing the ACC tournament. Baseball was the 9th overall team in the country in Gino DiMari's last year, and finished below 500 for the first time since 1953 last year. 1 year. So again, they're still early in those tenures. You don't. And this is why I was making them come out the Boozer twins. You don't hire a coach for a 1-year thing. So there's going to be more time to evaluate those hires. But so far, I mean, we don't really have any factual basis for confidence in this group's ability to hire anyone. I mean, that's just factual, right? I don't. That's nothing to do with Jay Lucas specifically. It's just the track record isn't good here.
And we've got nothing with him. It's such an unknown because we don't have anything to base it.
Well,
on.
I guess we're
not trying to shoot this guy down or say negative things. Obviously, we're fans of the program, but we have nothing to base it on. And you're going from a guy who coached for 50 years. When we hired Coach L, he had been to the Final Four a few years before that. We knew what we were getting. And he built the program to the best it's ever been, and it might be the best it ever will be. We don't know. And we've gone from a Final Four 2 years ago to complete disaster, and we hire a guy who's been an assistant coach for 8 years. Yeah, he's young. He knows the NIL. He can recruit at the Blue Bloods, but we don't know a lot of other things, and that's why we're skeptical. Bill, we're not saying Cullup was a bad hire. We're just saying right now it's.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incomplete grade. I think that's a fair statement. It was one. So, and this is why Melissa is absolutely correct. You got to give Jay Lucas some time here, because what Cullup walked into was everyone exited the program. By the way, a lot of them are performing at other schools now in the top 20.
Lachey Dwyer made all Big East second team.
Jalea's starting for Louisville. They're a top 15 team. Yeah. Kyla is playing a ton of minutes for like the number 1 team in the country. So, I mean, and when we played Virginia, I mean, I was there. Latasha Latimer, who was a backup on our team, was the best player on the court. So I think you need to give him more time, but he's not proven. These hires have so far. Incomplete is the grade, right? So, but the early returns on a 1 year couldn't be worse. Couldn't be worse.
We had a really good recruiting class.
No, but I'm not. But that's not part of the grade yet, right?
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. It's incomplete if you want me to say if it's a good hire or not, or this hire worked or not. But baseball was literally the worst team we've ever had. Again, it was 1 year, but this year's. And in that direction, it feels like again. And if we're sitting here, next year talking about everyone missed the ACC tournament again, we have a problem. And the only reason people are not storming the Heck Center right now is because football is good. And that had nothing to do with the Carter. They hired the football coach before they hired the AD. So, yeah. So again, this is not as none of that has anything to do with Jay Lucas, by the way. So that's just the situation he's walking into. I will say the one thing I won't have. I agree with Melissa. Need to be patient. The one thing I won't have tolerance for is if we start doing completely idiotic stuff, and people are like, "Well, he's never coached before. What did you expect?" I'm like, "You
That's
made
what we're trying to say.
choices were made."
Bill, I'm not gonna we're not comparing other situations. Listen, I want the best.
Well, I just want to say this.
Go ahead.
This is like my biggest thing with it. And like I don't want to keep being negative about it because like at the end of the day, this is the position we're in. This is who's hired, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with the program. But to me, like to say that it's not a risky hire is absolutely insane to me when the guy has never been a head coach before. There is inherently more of a risk than if you hired a guy that has done it at a mid-major. Like, I mean, Bill just mentioned Todd Golden. I mean, he was the head coach at San Francisco and
For
did a
3
great
years.
job for
For
3
3
to 4 years. Yeah. And built that program into a legit powerhouse at the mid-major level. And I mean, same thing with Pat Kelsey from Louisville that got hired. And so that's kind of the way I thought we were going to go with this. And so we did something that was unprecedented, you know.
Well,
It's
and
happened a handful of times to hire someone so young that's only been an assistant. Is just, you know, normally it's you're an assistant for 10 or for like 15, 20 years, and then maybe you get an opportunity. But you know, to say that there's no risk involved at all, which I've seen that on Twitter a lot. It's like, no, there is risk, and we have to give him time. This is going to take him time to adjust to taking over a program. You know, I want to see him succeed, but to just expect him to come out and just, you know, be super competitive in year one, it's unrealistic. You know, I hope it happens.
We would look absolutely ridiculous if we sat here and said, "Oh my God, this is an amazing hire. We're going to win the ACC next year." Like, if that happens, then that's awesome. But like, we're being, you know, we're fans of the team, but we're also realistic.
Yeah.
He's a very young coach, even in his assistant years. He's never been a head coach, starting at a power conference school, an ACC, who's usually a very good basketball conference school, and a team that's usually not a basketball school. That's going to lose pretty much every single player on the team.
With that being said, I am optimistic with the names that I've heard that are going to come in and be assistants under him, which I mean, I hope that some of these names that we've heard are true, because I feel like that would help a lot on a, you know, help him, you know, with the transition of becoming a head coach, and then help, you know, get players from the portal that want to play under a program that has a legit staff like that. But yeah.
I'll mention a few of them, Matt.
I mean, I don't know if I can, but like, I mean, I know one was posted on Twitter, and that's Mike Bray, former Notre Dame head coach, someone that's, you know, has a lot of experience coaching. I think he was most recently an assistant at for the Atlanta Hawks. And I think I saw something posted that he has like family in Florida, so he kind of wanted to be close to that area. That's why he took the job with the Hawks. So, I mean, I feel like that's something that's very promising.
I mean, this is I mean, someone actually managed to make a worse in-state hire. So
yeah, I don't really be competing for the worst hire. I mean, FSU's hire was pretty bad, but like
one of the things that concerns me with this hire, and it's the overall approach of the athletic department at this point. Matt mentioned the term unprecedented. I've heard way too many people in our athletic department. This is not just related to this hire, but across the board. This is unprecedented with NIL. We got to do some crazy shit no. St. John's rolled Rick Pitino out of the crypt, and he still knows how to coach, and they're in the top 10, right? I think we're overreacting a little bit to this whole, it's the changing landscape. And no, there's still a ball rolled out there. You play 40 minutes and it's 5-on-5. Like, and I think we've leaned very heavily into, and this is across all three of the programs we're talking about. Wow, they can recruit. And in the NIL era, that's what matters. And I think we've neglected focusing on, and this is less the
developing a
case.
team.
Yeah, I mean, it's still basketball. Once they get on campus, you're still just coaching them. And the good coaches are still able to do that. And so I think this, every time I hear them say, this is unprecedented, I'm like, it's just paying players to show up and then you do the same shit you've been doing. And how are these people businessmen? Because this is the only industry that used to exist where you essentially use indentured servitude for the employees and you don't pay them. Every other business runs by paying their employees and don't freak out and overreact and have all this, we don't know what we're doing. How do we deal with this? I don't know. You have a budget, you manage it, you write a check. Determine market value like any other business runs. It's not rocket science. And no, you don't even need the coach to do that. Have a freaking accountant do it. Matt, get in there. And I think there's been a pretty big overreaction, even to the point that Melissa, I didn't do that.
No, Matt said he'll be right back.
Okay. I was like, that wasn't me. Don't blame me. But I don't know if you saw, Melissa, or if anyone else has been out to the Watt or seen the U100 sports video that like Joe Zagacki voices it over, and they show like the historical, because the anniversary is April 8th. And so even in that, he's like, in this unprecedented era of athletic, I'm like, it's just paying salary to employees. And I do think we have leaned very heavily into they're going to be able to navigate this new web of confusion better because they're whatever they think they're going to do. I'm just like, you don't pull a batter out that bats 400 for one that bats 100 because one's a righty and one's a lefty. That didn't work 50 years ago. It doesn't work now. I think we're overcomplicating some of this, and I think that's.
I smirked at that because I'm the one Vish text messages when these things happen.
I mean, it is. There's a whole other thing happening right there.
Power hitter because he bats right-handed.
It's just. I mean, we pinch hit with someone for. We one of our players is top 20 in the nation RBI, and we pinch hit with someone that bats 083 last weekend, and I just almost walked out of the light. I'm like, I can't do this. But anyway, I do think they've leaned heavily into this model of they need to respond to what they view as a different sport than what is currently or what was previously played. And the way to do that is to lean into these people can get the money in and get the players in. And that's all that's going to matter. And I think so far, the returns on that are not good. Because you see it with baseball too, right? I mean, everyone left. We brought in all these new talent. And a lot of these kids, when you go out there, you can see they're talented. The team sucks. And the pitchers have arm talent much better than we did 2 years ago. And we can't pitch. And I think we're discounting the teaching aspect of this. And it concerns me when the first 5 things they say about every one of our coaches is, well, they can recruit. And that was the same thing with this hire.
That's like the only thing people are saying, too. Of just like, I'm trying to have a conversation in the comments of people like that aren't calling me names. And I'm just like, tell me why this hire excites you. Like what is your thinking? And it's all, well, he recruited all these players at Duke.
Well, there's one more positive that I would like to talk about.
Go ahead.
Can we do that? The emphasis on defense.
No, I am. No, that's great. Emphasis on defense. But like, people are coming at me because I'm skeptical because he doesn't have head coaching experience. But I'm just like, the only thing you're talking about is that he can recruit at Duke. I'm like, that's great. I hope he can do that down here. I'm rooting for him. I'm a fan. I don't dislike the guy. I'm just being skeptical because I think I have a reason to. So instead of getting called names, I'm trying to have a conversation with people, and it's just like, oh, well, I don't have another reason for you, so let me just call you names instead in the comments. And I'm just like, what the hell?
Well, and what it comes down to is how good of a coach is he going to be? Can he bring guys together? Because you can have the greatest recruits in the world, but it doesn't mean you have a great team, right? So that's the biggest thing. Basketball is such a chemistry-driven sport, but people don't understand that. They just want to look at, recruiting rankings and stuff. And the fact of the matter is we don't know.
Exactly. So, we don't know. And that's what I was trying to say but it's such a bipolar reaction. People either love it or they're skeptical like us. And I was trying to be like the voice of reason and being like, well, there's this, but at the end of the day, we could say as much as we want, and people can say as much as they want. We don't know because he's never been a head coach. We know what he's done as assistant in his 7-8 years.
I can say this. I am glad that hopefully we are not going to be seeing the hard hedging in the middle of the floor anymore. I'm guessing we are not going to see that. I don't know the last time we had like a top 30, top 40 defense. So, I mean, if we can get there, that would be amazing. He talked about like having size positionally to be able to switch things and whatnot to make you a better, more active defensive team. So I'm interested in seeing that. So
yeah, he said that he believes in the defense wins championship motto, like in his press conference, which, I mean, listen, if we could actually see a defense, like a functional defense, I'll be his biggest fan.
I mean, we know there's going to be improvement there. We literally had the worst power conference defense, if not the worst defense in the nation. So
I mean, look,
that'll be nice.
I think so. Several things on that, right? I mean, there was very much an every man for himself attitude with the team this year, except for a couple of players, and
that made it worse. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Coach L walking out definitely made it worse because, just to be blunt, the interim head coach was ill-equipped to deal with what he walked into, which was already a disaster, not of his own making. It was Coach L's, right? But he did not know how to handle this roster. There was so much inconsistency with how he dealt with the players. It's going to lend itself to that attitude. I mean, if you see 3 players do the same thing, one gets benched, the other 2 play another 20 minutes. Like, that's just going to lead you into...
Had this conversation today.
Yeah, just across the board, those inconsistencies with how he treated the players, and there most definitely was that when you pull up ACC stats and see one of our players near the bottom of every statistical category, but playing the most minutes on the team, that's going to lead to resentment. It's going to lead to selfish play, because why am I going to play the team concept when the coach is rewarding that? And so I'm assuming none of those guys are back. Yeah. But there's a whole cleanup that needs to happen there that'll naturally rise the defense.
What's crazy is I think technically now Brandon Johnson has more eligibility because of the new
Hey, he won that last game for us though.
Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about things we hope to see?
Well, I just want to I want to address one other thing here real quick. So even if he had head coaching experience, he could still stink. I mean, Perry Clark had a good record at Tulane, took him to the tournament multiple times, and essentially took our program and lit it on fire. So, I'm going to respond to Bill's comment too in a second. So the reason that the reason that I'm kind of annoyed with the fan reaction is I actually, whether or not the school got this hire, as we all said, we'll know down the road. You're not going to know in year one. But I would be shocked and very disappointed if the reason he was hired is the bullshit coming out of our fans' mouth. Oh, he can get the Boozer twins. Oh, he got this guy at Duke, or he got this guy at Kentucky. If our school does not have more future-looking vision than that, we have a problem. My guess is he was hired a lot more for what Matt was talking about and Melissa was talking about in terms of he's a defensive coach, our defense stinks. We really need to improve that. Okay, he's talking about how he's going to build a program, lay the foundation. We understand we're down so bad, there isn't a short-term fix. So I think this guy's got it, and we're going to go through some growing pains, understood. But I think this is the guy that ultimately is going to build our program to where it needs to be. And I'm willing to take on those growing pains, because trying to transit through an interim coach in the middle or whatever, if I think this is the guy, that argument I would buy. But he knows he knows this guy or that guy and how to. And like, no, that if they hired him for that reason, this is going to fail very heavily. But I don't think they did. I'm assuming he laid out what is probably a very long-term plan for rebuilding the dumpster fire that is this program. And that's what they bought into. And they said, you know what? I believe in that vision. I believe 3 or 4 years from now, we can be competing in the top 5 of the ACC with consistency, bring order to this chaos that we've had, and kind of lay the foundation where it becomes repeatable, where you're competing there consistently over multiple years. And we're willing to go through the pain to get there because we're going to stink anyway the next few years. That I would buy. But if they were like, oh, he's going to just get all the recruits in and flip the easy button, and if that's what they think, they're in for a rude awakening. And I mean, I'm just someone else. I've been talking to someone else. Want to respond to this, or do you want me to do it?
Player development is very important. I don't even know how to respond to that. Like Duke having Cooper Flag or like these one and done players that there's like 4 or 5 in the country every year. Like I don't understand.
So I'll just say this: at any school, player development, and that includes chemistry and getting them to play together, is more important than the talent. That is especially the case.
10 Cooper Flags every year. Like, that's just not how it works.
Well, you know what, though? Like, we've seen, this is actually becoming increasingly important that you coach and you develop. There's a reason Calipari fell off the map, and it wasn't because he forgot how to recruit. The game evolved. And you can't just roll the ball out there with 5 talented guys and win anymore. So it's actually the opposite. It's moved away from that, largely because they're paying players now. So it's not, you can't hoard the talent. That's number one. Number two, especially at a school like Miami, everyone's aware that the highest recruiting class we've had in school history was the one that we rolled out there this year, right?
I will say there. I mean, listen. Again, we've talked about all the unknowns. I will say that I did like everything you hear from people that have worked with him. Obviously, I guess people aren't going to come out of the woodwork and say bad things about him. But like Duke fans were very complimentary, saying they didn't want him to go. That they've been worried the last few years that he was going to leave. That they really like him. So that gives me hope that he can establish a really good culture. That he's a well-liked guy. The player development is important. I can't. What the heck? Like, I don't understand.
One of the things that I took away from what he said during the press conference that I really liked was him talking about the relatability based on his like previous experience playing basketball. He was a McDonald's All-American. You know, he was someone that didn't get a lot of minutes. So, because I mean, being a head coach, that's important to have that relatability because, you know, everyone has a different, how do I want to say this? You have to be able to communicate to different guys that have different roles, right? And be able to get guys to buy into those roles. That's a really important quality as a coach. So, yeah,
especially with a transfer portal, because if a guy's not happy with his role, then he can just peace out.
And that's fine. I think, and this is where, you know, we're having success in football. Just being genuine and honest with people will carry you a long way. Hey, this is what I think your role is going to be.
Yeah.
And not bullshitting them, and then make them sign up for that. Otherwise, go find someone else. And I do think
don't give them these expectations that they're going to be like all.
I do think he comes across as genuine and assuming he's not full of shit. I mean, that's one of Mario's secret. Like, he's a great recruiter. Well, what does he do? He
tells them the truth.
He's truthful. He's honest. He sticks by his word. And so, you know, if he tells you you're going to play, you're going to play. If he tells you you're going to sit on the bench for 2 years, you're going to sit on the bench for 2 years, and you have that expectation coming in. And we talked about, and Coach L talked about this in his going away press conference, and we talked about this on the show too. And I know Nate made comments as well. we all kind of were like, is Jaleel really going to start? Because Coach L will not start true freshman. And he didn't start him. And he's playing like Jalen Blackman of all people. And it's so then you got to wonder, okay, why'd you go recruit this kid? Right? It doesn't seem like that made sense. Like you can be the coach that says, I'm not comfortable playing true freshman. That's fine. You can win that way.
Fine for 40 minutes.
But well, that's a whole other. Don't get me started on that. I never want to see that on campus again. But and that man is Bill Courtney. I know everyone's like, oh, great job. I don't think he could have done a worse job. But anyway, let's leave that in the past. No, I mean I'm sorry, we're non-competitive in almost all the games. We had multiple players leave the team. Like, what is this? Okay, it's not his fault. It stunk. But like, what does a bad job look like then? When three people just like, where the hell did Joe Bay go? Like, what happened? It's just like everyone stopped watching, and at the end of the day, like, great job, the program still exists, and it's like, wait, 3 players, like they're like, we're down to 6 players, yeah, because everyone just left the program, they walked out. We had someone transfer in the middle of the season and join another team. Like, I've never heard of that. So, like, that's none of that's Bill Courtney's fault necessarily, because, like, I mean, what's he walking into? But like, to me, like, great job is like, man, you really held it together. I don't think you could call multiple players just disappearing off the team holding it together. Like, to me, that's kind of the opposite. But anyway, that was
the players that actually stuck around and played till the end, though.
That was a diversion, a bit of a diversion. But you know, that in hindsight, when Coach was talking about how like he's talking about like he really wants to coach and develop players and he can't do. I'm like, you chose this path, right? You're the one who picked these players and brought them in. And, you know, if you don't want to play true freshman, don't go get the McDonald's All-American then. Get the guy that you're awesome and say, hey, you're a year or 2 away. It's a good place for you to grow. And do it that you can still do that. And so
you got to find the Isaiah Longs of the world.
And I do think Jay Lucas, again, we won't know for sure, you know, until several years down the road whether this is the right hire or not. But I do at least think he's going to bring a little bit more structure here, and probably lay a little bit more of a solid foundation than we've had, because I think.
Well, and that's what's going to determine how successful we are as a program, right?
Right.
It's not about us getting all these 5-star recruits and whatever.
Exactly.
It's do they buy into their roles, into the culture that he establishes.
Right,
and that's why there is some skepticism because he hasn't done that before. So,
right, but I do think, you know, I guess for me, I think he can do that. So whatever, let's see if he does. Like nothing leads me to believe he can't, just like nothing leads us to believe that he can. But I will say, I think one of the things that's gone horribly wrong the last 2 years is we kept chasing that next step from improving from making the Final Four, and we essentially collapsed the program trying to do that. So how do you go like one step further than all the way up here? Like, I think we stopped laying that foundation and started chasing that short term. And if you look at the history of that Elite Eight Final Four was the only time we ever did something good 2 years in a row. Every other one was like on a cycle of like we have a good team and then kind of settle down a little bit and then have another good team and we tried to chase.
And then an FBI investigation and then
I think we make too much of an excuse out of that, to be honest, because other programs that were in the same lanes did not completely implode like we did. But that's neither here nor there, right? I think when we got to the Final Four, we're like, how do we chase and increment? How do we get that next step from there? And we stopped kind of doing the things that actually got us there. Because you look at how many times, like we have we have the 2013 team, then we have the Angel Rodriguez and Sheldon McClellan team, and then we have the Lonnie Walker team, and then we have the Charlie Moore team, and then we have the Isaiah Wong team. I know Isaiah Wong was on both of those, and so Ryan Brown was on multiple teams and all that too. But like, you almost have these like, he built the team to the moment where they were able to capitalize, and we stopped doing that and started like, Lynn Kidd, get your ass in there, and we're gonna win. And it's just like there was none of that building stopped. Because I think he knew one way or the other, Coach. I was like, I'm nearing he's literally done everything but win the championship. He's made the Final Four multiple schools. So I think we just kind of tried to make that final push, and we went kind of, it's like a poker play, put all our chips in and busted. And we got nothing. We're broke.
Can Jay Lucas do that though? Can he bring in players and develop them and not lose them to the portal?
Yes. Yes. If you're honest with, I swear people don't understand. Just be honest with people. Look, you're not going to play a lot. Hey, it's going to be tough here. You're going to be on the foundation of us building this back. It's not going to happen overnight. If you want to win tomorrow, like when you show up on campus, you have to go to Duke. It's not going to happen here. You can be honest with people, and people will buy into that. Like, yeah, I want to be the person that made this Miami program versus another. I mean, I've talked about this, right? When I went to the Kentucky game, their championship banners look like little postage stamps because they have so many. Like, they've won so many. I'm like, wait, those all say national championship. We have this huge banner for the Final Four that takes up like half the arena because we made it once, right? And certainly, like, most kids would be, hey, I'm going to go to Kentucky and we're going to win, and we're going to win big, and I'm going to go to Duke and we're going to win big, because you know what the programs are, right? Right now, you know Kelvin Sampson's an amazing coach. If you go to Houston, you might not make the Final Four, win the championship because the tournament's wonky, but you're going to be in there. You're going to be one of the top 10 teams in the country, right? You know that. And then there's also players that are attracted to, hey, my legacy is going to be building this program. And you got to be honest with them. And you will get kids in there that'll want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to stick it out for a couple of years here, and we're going to do this together. There's maybe not as good and maybe not as important in our program, but there are Isaiah Youngs out there. But you got to be honest with them. If you're going to tell them you're going to come in here day one, we're going to be great, then they're going to hit the portal. And if you're going to bring in the highest recruiting class in school history and then give all the minutes to the guy you signed as an afterthought in the summer while he leads the ACC in turnovers, then people are going to transfer to Iowa in the middle of the season. So,
or just leave the team altogether.
So I mean that's kind of what. So it's not just mismanaging in season; it's mismanaging expectations. And if you're honest with people, they will respond to that, and a lot of them will slam the door in your face, like, I'm not interested in that, and that's fine. You'd rather that than them show up on campus.
We'll see.
You will get enough players that want to play basketball at the University of Miami.
We'll see. Hopefully we won't see crazy rotations next year. No more high hedging, playing the best players that, and not just rotating people in just for shits and giggles.
I'm okay with high hedging if you have the personnel to do it and you're not doing it in the middle of the floor.
Maybe we'll have a lower turnover percentage.
Does Matt keep freezing for you? Is it just on my end?
Yeah, no, he's freezing for me too.
He's frozen with his eyes closed right now.
Right.
We can hear you. You're just frozen.
Oh man, when you look at the YouTube video, you're gonna enjoy this freeze frame.
What's
that
up,
was me. Anyway, but I will say the positive is he does seem to have a plan, right? Which is much
not just the concept of a plan.
God, too soon. He does seem to have a plan that we're not actually privy to, which is what you actually need. Because the whole he knows how to recruit. That's not a thing that you build the foundation of a program on.
Does Matt want to log out and log back in?
I mean, I don't want to necessarily boot him. You're still frozen over here, my friend. And he just totally dropped out. I think he lost internet because he didn't even move back. He just completely dropped out. We'll see if he comes back in. Hopefully he will.
Yeah.
So I do think, the way and actually we talked about this with football. I know you and I have talked offline. I've talked about it on the football show. Underrated Mario is how he roster builds. He stacks classes, but he also plugs gaps with portal. And he kind of builds this, the roster is rounding out. That's how you win. You don't do it by getting one high profile guy.
Rocky, I would like you to put in the comments why you think Jay is going to do well here. I know you're coming in late. Just put in the comments your reasoning behind that statement. I want to know. Okay.
You've been tasked.
I just want reasons because we don't know. So I want to see what people's reasons are. So people take our skepticism as us wanting him to fail, which couldn't be further from the truth. We're just saying it how it is. We don't know. Vish just monologued for a good 10 minutes. So I agree. Ditto.
I don't think I'm nearly as skeptical as the two of you. Because I talked about this actually before this season, and even before Coach L retired, that like I expected pain and a step back when he left. So I'm kind of like, all right, now this is the hire. Yeah, everything. I'm not disagreeing with any of the points I'm also making. That again,
A lot of my
it is
frustration,
factual.
though-
It's factual to say he has no experience. Like that's not something we made up. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah. No, a lot of my frustration though came from the process of the hiring, like because I felt like we didn't even talk to people that should have been given an opportunity to coach at the power level. You know, that's kind of where I was at.
So this is where I'll. So like it's funny because I'm agreeing with everything y'all are saying, but I can also counter that by if I talk to Jay Lucas. And I'm like, yeah, we're just doing some evaluation. I come out of there convinced this is the guy. I'm not going to go interview anyone else. Why am I going to do that? That's the guy. Let's move forward.
I don't think there's anything wrong with questioning it, especially considering that the hire was made before the season even ended. I think the three of us, because we talk a lot offline, obviously, had other expectations. What did he say? Because of his energy, I think it's a new generation hire.
Well, and can I just say too, like as someone that watches a lot of college basketball too, it was just really weird the way we went about of like how early it leaked, and then like it became official, and then he leaves Duke like before even the end of their season. It was just like a weird.
Well, I
situation.
agree
It's
with
unprecedented.
I agree with him leaving Duke at the end of the regular season.
Well, it's not a matter of if you agree or
Rocky,
not. I'm just saying it's weird because it's never
Rocky,
happened.
Give me a reason why you think his system will succeed here when you've never seen his system. Like this is just us guessing what his system's going to be, and like, oh yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, but again, I think it's a little unfair to take it to that level because I mean he's been around basketball. It's not like he doesn't have it.
And there's a lot of potential. Like I keep saying, it's
yeah, but I think if you wanted to be like if you wanted to play devil's advocate on that question, you could flip it all the way around and say, why do you think his system is not going to work when you haven't seen it?
I didn't say it's not going to work, and I didn't say it is going to work. I'm saying we don't know, and that's why I'm skeptical and why I say we can say all of these things, but we don't know. So I'm getting looked at, oh, it's glass half empty because I'm questioning it and saying I don't know what's going to happen. But then there's people like, oh, this is a great hire because he can recruit and do all of these things, but we don't know. He's done it at Duke as an assistant. The season was already weird. We already sucked before he left, which is why he left.
Yeah, I mean, I think before he even did that, Bill, I get what Bill's saying is like the job was vacant for so long because he didn't even coach the season. So it was like it immediately pivots, right? So I get that, except
the Virginia job is vacant.
Yeah, and
so it's like I mean it happens.
Well, no, but wasn't Sanchez supposed to be like the longer term guy or whatever? But anyway, I guess but my other point on that is, and I think we all, even before Coach L retired, I think the three of us like this is it. He's done. Like he's not going to be here next year. And we thought he would, probably in February announce that's his last season, and then do a swan song instead of just walking away in December. But I think, those wheels were in motion, whether he left in the middle of the season or not. I don't think that affected time. I agree with you. The process was weird, but I also don't think you need to go through the motions of interviewing people if you think you've got the guy you got. Like if you think that's your guy, I don't think you need to. I think at that point you just hire the guy you've got. Whether or not they're right, we'll know down the road. But if you're in charge of shit, like running a major program's athletic department, and you don't trust your own judgment, you feel you have to, like, I don't know, dance for the public. I have a bigger problem with that. You don't need to fake interview people. Like, if you met Jay Luton, and he lays out whatever his system is, which is listen, so we don't know, and you're like, this is gonna work. This is my guy. I'm bought in. I'm not gonna go talk to Will Wade now. I'm gonna hire my guy.
Ben McCollum.
I'm not saying anything. I'm done. I'm good.
So we could get.
I can't say something is good based off of a rumor.
But also, I think so. One of the concerns I have, because I've watched way too many bad sports this year. I have a stack of press passes like this thick of just the most horrendous. You guys don't know what I've been through. So I am concerned because I don't envision anyone, I don't care, Jay Lucas or anyone else, and you can take your rumored names, they could all come to fruition, takes what we saw out in the court this year and rolls a team out there that doesn't stink next year. And I keep reiterating, I need to give him time. And my concern with he's going to get the Boozer twins, or he's going to get this big name out of the portal and that name. If you think he's going to assemble some kind of, I mean, honestly, because obviously we all three watch. Best case scenario for assembling a one-year squad in the portal is essentially what the women had to do this year, and they missed the ACC tournament. This is not a short-termism thing. So I think I don't really care about names in the portal, to be honest. And I don't care about him trying to salvage the recruiting class that fell apart. He needs to
There's
put
no
in
recruiting class. Both of the two names.
Yeah, no, it fell apart.
Already.
Like I don't care about that, to be honest. I don't care who's on the team next year. Also, to be honest, like next year is not important to me. And if they made a hire for next season, they're completely lost. I don't think they did, because then you definitely hire someone with experience. I think they made a hire that they think is going to pay off 3 or 4 years down the road. Yeah,
it's a long term. It's like this is a hire for like 2-3 seasons from now, where we start like making the tournament and winning a few games in the ACC tournament, to maybe in like 5 years winning the ACC tournament and things like that. This isn't something like, oh, next year we're going to make the Sweet 16. This is definitely a developmental type situation where
but
he's young, he's
I think
new.
it was going to be anyway, though. That's why I'm a
if
little bit less negative on it.
But when you go with a hire of someone who's also kind of, I'm not going to say he's figuring it out. He's been he grew up. His dad was a coach. He played basketball. He's been assistants under some really good programs.
That's a legend.
So, yeah,
that's all.
Yeah,
his brother was a really good player too.
At some really good programs, so he knows basketball. But now he has to develop his own system. So it's going to take time. Down the road, it could most definitely work out, and we could look like, oh my God, what a great hire. But if it doesn't work out, then you're starting over again. And that's what I'm trying to say, is that you really don't know. It's going to take a few years. But that makes me look like I'm doubting everything. But hey, maybe I am.
I actually think it's almost the other way around, because I've seen it. We've seen it. They're going to turn on him so fast if he doesn't meet whatever Fantasyland expectations they have for some short-term gains here. It's just we'll see down the road, but I think that was going to be the case with pretty much anyone we hired. So I'll be patient with it. I've sat through enough filth. I can watch a little bit more of it.
I mean, as he recruits guys and we get people from the portal and stuff, and a team starts to come together, we can start talking about it more of kind of what our expectations are. Like, just as a whole, like, I mean, it can't look worse, can it? I mean,
we said that last summer.
I mean, this is like bottom of the barrel, though. Like, we had 7 wins.
No, I would say I think, was it 7 or 6? I thought it was 6.
I thought it was 6.
Oh, we won the last game. I totally
We
forgot.
won the last game.
I forgot we won the last game at
7.
7. What's 7? We got that third ACC win at the buzzer. Oh.
We don't have a team yet, but like obviously, even at the beginning of this season, we were questioning the rotations. Remember, we were talking about the hockey line change, and we were like, "What's going on with this?" And then we were talking about why is so and so getting so many minutes, and we're benching this person, and like it's not even like just from a standpoint of seeing rotations that make sense, or benching someone because it makes sense, and like seeing the right play calls and seeing better defense. Like just the little things next year will give me more confidence. Like if we see actual concepts of basketball and not whatever mess we were throwing out into the court this year. So I mean, I'm not really going to look at it from a win-loss perspective next season, because again, he's got to throw a team together from the portal and from recruiting like late. So I just want to see progress and actually seeing team basketball. That would be nice. And go from there.
Yeah. Again, I consumed an abundant amount of concentrated filth over the last few months, and it's extending into baseball now. Where I saw us give up 30 runs in 3 games over last weekend, and I'm beaten down by it.
His pin tweet is a Kobe tweet, by the way, in his Twitter profile.
Well, Jay used to get rides from Kobe, apparently.
Oh. Matt, you should love this.
I think, yeah. I mean,
he's got good character. We know that. He's a Kobe guy.
He used to get. Oh, let's not go there. But he used to get rides from John Lucas too. I don't know if you heard that. So the yeah. I mean, we'll see. But I think I probably watched more of this team than anyone, including some of the players that kept walking away from the program. So I mean, if you saw what we saw this year, yeah, I would settle for. I'm totally in alignment with Melissa. Look like you know how to play basketball. Like, actually, well,
look like you're trying on defense.
Look like you're trying on defense, and actually,
we want to see high IQ basket.
It's IQ high basket, I think. But
I
don't know. I don't know if IQ high basket is still with the team, to be honest.
I can stand.
I don't want to be sitting at the media area next year and have to like constantly face palm because of how bad we look. Like I'd
also, frankly, I think
I'm going to preach the fundamentals.
But I also think that starts with discipline, and
yeah,
I am totally fine with him just like punishing bad play. I would have been. I told you guys this. I wasn't joking. We were so bad. I'm like, put the walk-ons on. Why are these guys on the court? What the hell do we care? We're the worst team in the country. Just let the walk-ons play. Like you have to teach lessons out there. You can't just let them keep playing and making the same mistake. Actually, several of our players got worse as the season went on. Like, so that again, I'd like to like not see that, but between both basketball teams, I saw some things, man. Saw some things this year. The fall off,
long off season.
The fall off from where we were to where we are across all 3 of these.
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of news. We're basically replacing the entire.
I know it's gonna be a lot of news. He's got to fill out a staff. He did, just for reference, if you didn't watch the press conference, he did mention he was gonna evaluate the current staff. I can't imagine we're gonna. And again, we did talk about this. It's better for them to move on. I mean, Bill Courtney. There's
both sides. Yeah, both sides.
But we do have a couple of young coaches and staff who we've had on the show that are well thought of. So in a vacuum, we'd be like, hey, retaining them. They're good coaches. They're young up and comers, but I think they need a fresh start too. But actually, a normal situation, those are people you're like, hey, those are good coaches to have. But I think they'll likely move on to greener pastures for themselves as well. And Bill Courtney should be nowhere near campus ever again. I think it's done.
Yeah.
There. And so I think that's just moving it forward from there, and we'll see. But yeah, I mean, there's been such a huge drop off. I mean, even with the women, we were talking about this in the middle of the season, and we used to comfortably beat the bad teams and be competitive with the good teams, and then we became one of the bad teams that gets blown out if we're playing with a pulse and we're battling the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
And about the time the game Nate was at, where we're like losing to Syracuse, I'm like, we're one of those teams now. The automatic check mark for the good teams on the schedule. We're gonna get that down there. I don't know how that happened so quickly, but man.
Yeah, 2 legends retire.
I mean, one of them imploded the program, then retired. The other one left, and it caused the implosion of the program. So,
Yeah.
not exactly the same thing, but yeah.
That might have been one of the worst ways to wake up in the morning. Was to text messages and tweets that Coach Meyer retired.
She couldn't give me a heads up, damn it.
I mean, I think that might have been the earliest. I think we did like an emergency show at
We
like 2
did.
o'clock in the afternoon.
I think it might be a little later than that.
Yeah, I don't even remember. So,
But yeah, no, we definitely did an
there's
emergency.
going to be a lot to break down this offseason. Obviously, Coach Lucas's staff fell out. Plus, both teams are basically having to completely reload.
Sounds like there's
So,
a party at Matt's.
Are we
Yeah,
doing?
Monica
Are we
just got
doing
home. She's
NBA
on
grid?
TikTok.
It's the off season. Are we doing NBA grid today? Do we have a final thoughts? Ooh, there is final thoughts though.
All right, well.
Cue it.
Let's...
Today's final thoughts are all about the Montana Grizzlies, who officially are in the NCAA tournament after winning the Big Sky championship. Shout out to Money Williams, Kai Johnson, Joe Pridgeon, who's quickly become one of my favorite players in college basketball, a 6'5" power guard, as I call him. Dude weighs like 230. They've been fun to watch. They're deep. They got a guy that's actually from around here locally. So big fan of him, Austin Patterson. So just a team that, you can really get behind in these trying times when, your team isn't in the tournament. So excited to see the Grizz. Excited to do this show on Monday with, oh man, it's going to be a busy show. 5 people. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be all about March Madness. I love it. Greatest time of the year.
It's even better when Miami's involved, which is why I said March Sadness. But
yeah,
basketball's dead to me, but we'll power through that shit.
That shows all for me. Vicious.
I was watching. So as a cheer up.
High Point is playing Texas Point. Oh, great! I'm gonna take Texas Tech. Fuck me.
As like a cheer up. So every year on Real Madrid's anniversary, which is March 6th, they release like 100 whatever years of the club, and it was 123 years. So I'm watching it's like a 7-minute like these are all the legends and all this, and then randomly in the middle, there's my guy Luka Doncic just jumping up and down, celebrating with because Real Madrid obviously has a basketball team that Luka was a star on. I'm just like, I can't get away from it. I can't win anything here. I did. By the way, Melissa, you'll appreciate this. So I did. Obviously we have the go-to is Destiny Harden lighting up Louisville to win an ACC tournament game, but I had not watched a lot of like the Villanova Sweet 16 game. The whole thing is on YouTube. So we were, I knew we blew the huge lead, but watching it I don't know how we were up 21. They went on a 23-2 run and took the lead, and we still came back and won the game. Is like one of the more remarkable things that like I've seen, and definitely worth checking out on YouTube. The good times.
Wait, pull up the thumbnail.
Oh, what are we looking at here? Blue Chips. Oh, what a movie! By the way, free on YouTube right now.
And Vish, you're at yeah.
Yeah, I'm throwing down I'm Shaquille O'Neal. I'm slamming it down. What are we talking?
There you go.
Thanks for including me for a change, Doom.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna have a show this next week, but stay tuned for the March.
I think we're just doing the March Madness show.
If any big hires, like if he fills out a staff or something, then we might do an emergency show. But it is off season, so after our March Madness show, Selection Sunday show, stay tuned for all the NBA grid, all of the things that we're gonna do to fill in the off season, and all the discussion on portal transfers and all of that stuff.
I mean, we're gonna have quite a bit of content because of all the player on the women's side as well, the player movement. So,
Matt, you look like you were gonna say something.
No, I was stretching.
Oh, okay. I was like, does he have something to say? Is it indigestion? Like,
there's a very low percentage of this that is smiles and glory holes.
it's not a show unless we get Jerry Jones.
I don't
mean,
get
talk about
another
disaster. Yeah, wait for it. Father times undefeated.
Glory holes.
The indigestion will come.
What the hell happened to the horse video, Vish? Like, what? It got delayed a day?
No, it's off.
He timed it for 9
Yeah, so
and then he put the wrong date. So
yeah.
we and I realized it at like midnight because I went to go see.
I didn't see the message till the morning, so I switched the AM to the PM, and then it republished at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
It is live. Actually, I put the before you joined. If you scroll up in the comments, you will get both the Coach L tribute video and the horse video are links.
Coach L tribute video is very good. The horse video,
I mean, it's us breaking a bunch of shots. I don't know how entertaining it would be, but I did do some drop-ins. I honored Melissa's request not to show her left-handed layup, so
appreciate you.
It got
I
stylistic.
hope you're
there.
after me next game. I'm only gonna do left-handed shots.
The wheel of doom. It screwed me.
The Wheel of Doom.
Not no relation to MF Doom, but yeah. So yeah, selection Sunday show. Well, it's the day after Selection Sunday. We're gonna do our tournament breakdown. Not this Monday coming up, the following Monday after Selection Sunday. If anything crazy happens in between there, we'll try to do an emergency show.
Wait, you mean it is this Monday?
Yeah,
like this.
Yeah, it's before the tournament starts. The tournament starts next week. So.
Is it next?
Yeah.
Oh, why do I think it's
That's
the Monday?
That's why
Yeah.
I literally said it's this Monday.
It's
Yeah,
this Monday. I don't even know.
3 days. 3 days.
I'm not following because Miami. It just makes me sad. Hence March sadness. So it is this Monday. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So this Monday, Selection Sunday show on Monday, breaking down the tournament. Go
And also
Grizz.
remember, there's 2 former Canes playing for the Bryant Bulldogs. Earl Timberlake and Ja'Kai Robinson. Shout out to them.
Ja'Kai. Wait,
Earl
who's
Timberlake won Conference Player of the Year.
who's
I
making
feel like
that?
Earl Timberlake played for the Canes like 7 million years ago. How is he?
Oh,
still
dude,
playing?
he plays like a grown ass man, dude.
How
He
is
was
he
driving
still
in
in
just.
college?
Him and Matt Cross were on the same team here.
I keep
That's not a
thinking
joke. That's
we
for
have,
real.
like, the entire ACC tournament left to play. Like I forget that it's like every single day, and that's why I'm thinking it's in like a week from now. I don't even.
Oh, there's been a ton of tournaments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
it's almost
Yeah, that's
done.
what I've been doing at work.
It's been more fun following like the mid majors than it is like the other tournaments. Although winning lane violation and losing is pretty funny.
I was watching our baseball team not score and lose 8-0.
Did I send you guys the email that my boss sent me today?
No,
screenshot?
Are we talking about this on air? You want to send the show and then talk about it?
No, it's completely fine.
Final thoughts
I'll
has
send it to
become
you right
like
now.
a mid
He-
to end. Final
He
thoughts.
literally said, "Can you do something for me during your break from watching basketball?"
Can you leave this on my desk during your break from watching basketball? That's funny.
Your job's very different from mine. Anyway. that wouldn't exactly fly. But anyway.
I'm so tired. I thought Selection Sunday was in a week from now.
No.
Well, it's Sunday. And then Monday is our show.
I was at my mom's last night. She wakes me up heinously early.
Anyway.
To the Sox outro. Don't cry.
We get buckets.
Keep it chill.
Yeah, baby.
Wear good socks.